State Representative Todd Rock is from the 90th District. He's my representative. And so it's not only is he my representative, but we have worked together on a number of things over the past several years. I'm very proud of him. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me today. Very nice. 35 of you came out today. Very nice. Thank you all for coming. It's good to see all the red out there. You know, Debbie and I have been friends for about 7 or 8 years. She was a big part of my first campaign. And her and her husband, actually, they were chairman of the Republican Party for a few years. And very good to know them. We're still good friends. Actually, when the redistricting happens, if it ever happens, they will no longer be in my district. I'm sad to see them go. But I thank you for all coming today, and thank you for allowing me to speak here. I just have, Debbie asked me to talk about my one bill, assault on a child. I'll tell you how it came about. It's just a very simple bill, just it's 3 pages long, but it's very powerful in what it does. This all came about after the Penn State debacle with the Sandusky thing, and out of that we voted that we should put together a commission that should look into child safety and what our laws currently are and what changes we might want to make. And we put together a commission that has, it's made up of retired judges, there's some district attorneys on there, there's some child welfare people on there, people that work in the business every day and see what children go through and the problems we have. And after going through that, they wrote up a 427-page report on what our current laws are and what laws they think should be changed. They made some recommendations. So my bill comes directly out of those recommendations. It looks like we're going to have more than a dozen bills altogether. But mine, I thought was interesting that it just does 3 things. First of all, it deals with assault on a child, and it changes Section 2701 of the Crimes Code, and it deals with the situation where if you cause bodily injury to a child, and the current law is if you cause bodily injury to a child and you're 21 years of age or older, you can be charged with simple assault. But if you were 18 or 19 or 20, you couldn't be charged. You were considered a minor. So you couldn't be charged. And this happens in many cases where children are abused by someone in that age group. So this takes the age down to 18. So at 18 now you can be charged with simple assault on a child. So that's the first thing it does. Then secondly, if you're charged with aggravated assault, we increase the penalties from a misdemeanor up to a felony. I think it's very important because I think you need to do jail time. You've all heard the stories of these kids being abused. And many times it's a single mother with a boyfriend in the house. They have no relationship to the child at all, but you have to do these horrible things to the child, and they end up with a misdemeanor out. You know, so this raises it to a felony. And first of all, it raises it to a first-degree felony if you assault a child under the age of 12. Okay, but then if you assault a child under the age of 4, it's a second-degree felony. So we thought we'd obviously get more serious. I mean, I don't think there's any law tough enough or any jail time tough enough for some of these things you hear about on TV and maybe you see in your own communities. But I thought this was something that needed to be done. And like I said, there's 427 pages in this report, so there's a lot of things that need to be done. But after looking at our laws and talking to these people that are in the business every day, they said these laws are so outdated, we need to update them. So out of a tragedy like Penn State is going to come some good things. And that's certainly a positive that happened out of that, although it's hard to find something good out of that whole situation. But we are heading in the right direction. Something like this, you know, many times you hear the laws that or you might see bills that are up, you know, they're 20 and 30 and 50 pages long. This one's only a couple of pages, but it makes major changes, and I think the ones that are appropriate, and hopefully it'll help protect children. So that's my spiel on my bill. But if you want to talk about anything else, I think we have I don't know if we have 10 minutes at a time or so. I know we're trying to talk fast to get it all in. But go ahead. That's House Bill 350. And I could actually, by the end of the day, I could get you, what's that? House assault on a child. What? Yes, ma'am.
Did you possibly change anything about reporting?
That'll be in the other bills coming. Yeah, we just broke it up into little sections. You know, if a bill gets too many things involved, it's much tougher to move through the system. We broke it up into bite-sized pieces that everybody can understand, and we're moving them through. We're going to move them through, I think, as a package eventually. This has already been voted out of committee, it's been voted through the House, it's over in the Senate. And of course, a lot of things, when we get them through the House, they stall in the Senate. But I think in this situation, it's hard to disagree with anything that we're doing here. So I think maybe at budget time, we'll get all these together and we'll pass them as one package at budget time. Because that's the time deals are made and things get done, so that's probably when this will get done. Yes, ma'am?
Would it be helpful if we called our senators for you?
Well, it certainly would. It certainly would. It's
can
always
put that
helpful
out
to
there.
call senators.
Okay.
There's so many things that we pass in the House, and sometimes we feel like we're just sort of treading water because you pass things and they just die in the Senate. But I'm not saying these will. These are very important. I think everybody agrees with this report. It's a report that's not, it doesn't favor one side or the other. These are people who work in the business every day, and they see what's wrong, they see the changes that need to be made, and I think everyone's going to agree with it.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah, go ahead. Keep on
Sorry.
asking. No.
If we wanted to, well, let me just explain. I'm also a Tea Party leader, so I'm taking notes, and if I wanted to get this out to our members and to other Tea Parties, just call their senators. Do you have anything on your website? So, in case I'm wrong, or what I'm
You
writing
mean
here?
details of the bill?
Yes,
I'm sure, I'm sure there is. If not, I'll make sure that it's on there. I'll look at it this afternoon. The website gets bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. But I'll check that out and make sure it's on there. If it's not, I'll make sure it gets on. Okay?
Todd, do you want to tell them about your newest assignment?
Oh, do that. I was selected to the task force on school safety. We just passed a resolution just a few months ago, and it was we're putting together a task force of I think 12 or 15 members that we're gonna get together. We have to put a report out by the 30th of September, I believe, that says what we believe should happen as far as school safety. It really doesn't deal with gun rights and all that kind of thing. It's basically what we believe the schools can do to make their schools safe. And that's a tough thing. Because today, I thought about that when I dropped off some DVDs at an elementary school today. And I walked in, I pressed the button, they let me in, they saw me on the camera, they let me in. But on the way out, the UPS man was coming in. So as I opened the door, he walked right in the door. And so it's very difficult. This is very difficult to keep a school safe because I don't know what you do. Because in that situation, how do you stop that UPS man? I mean, he was fine, there was no problem with him, but he could be wearing an UPS uniform. So that is very difficult. I was a school board member, I was a school teacher, and I know we wrestle with those things. We want parents to have access to their kids, obviously. When you come in, you don't want to have to go through armed guards and metal detectors, but it may come to that kind of thing. So keeping kids safe is very important, obviously. But if you look across every kid that goes to school in the United States, it's the safest place you can possibly be. It really is. Now, when we hear about these tragedies, I mean, there's no doubt about that. If you live in one of those communities, you might feel differently. But generally, the millions of kids that go to school every day, it's probably the safest place they can be. So, anything else?
Yeah, I think everyone.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Merrill Hatton, President.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, our Attorney General was on the news, and now I don't like to listen to her, and I apologize for this, but she was talking about the internet and she wants money from the state to get her task force going.
Yes, sir.
But I don't quite understand it. Why is she? I don't understand what she's talking about.
Good.
I thought a bill has to come down and you guys need all this stuff.
Well, I'm not exactly what issue I'm not sure what she's talking about exactly, but she can do things she can go around us, and she doesn't need our approval to do everything that she wants to do. She has leeway there. I'm just telling you, whether you agree with her or not, which I don't agree with her on a lot of things, but I have met her, and I've seen her, and I think she has a political future in this state. She is very talented. She looks the part. I mean, she's just a the complete package. Now, like I said, I don't agree with her on many, many things. But when I saw her and I talked to her personally, and she came to our committee, wow, I'm just afraid that she might have a future.
Didn't Governor Corbett get something like in process of this? Wasn't he while he was in office work on this? I mean, am I misunderstanding this?
On the issue you're talking about?
Yeah.
I'm just not sure. I just don't know enough about what you... Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, maybe we can help you.
They do have an internet task force. It's a child internet task force.
Oh, I didn't know
that.
Wasn't that Governor Corbett's baby first?
I don't believe so.
I don't believe it was.
Yeah, I think Rick Saccone.
Well, he talked about it.
Okay.
When he was AG.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been in effect for a long time. I was head of the Internet Child Task Force. Yes, it was Governor Corbett's to begin with when he was Attorney General.
And she wants, and that's what I didn't realize that's what you were talking about. She came to our Judiciary Committee to talk just about that. And Representative Rick Saccone has a bill that beefs it up even further, and so she just wants to take it to a new level, which I agree with her on. I don't have any issues with that. But like I say, it's all the other things on gun issues and many other I don't agree with. But I just wanted to tell you that I was impressed with her generally, and she's she wants to be governor someday. I'm not sure couldn't happen for her.
I just need some information when somebody hits me with that. Well, she's doing this, and then I said, well, no, she didn't do this.
No, she didn't. That's right. I think it's fair to say she didn't start it, but she is taking it to a new level, and she is doing the right thing. Well, that's right. That's right. So let's spread the good news around.
All right. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's it. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes.
I know, but you did mention the gun issue. Can you describe the present thinking in the House of Representatives?
Well, I can tell you that those gun issues would have to come through Judiciary Committee, which I'm a member of. And back when Governor Rendell was governor, and he certainly had the chairman of that committee, and he tried to do several gun bills and couldn't get the Democrat votes on that committee, let alone the Republican. So I don't think you're going to see any type of major changes to the Second Amendment coming out here. Maybe Fred might have something different to say about that, but I just don't see that happening.
I agree with you.
I just think that it's not just Republicans, it's Democrats. So, a lot of Democrats represent rural areas like mine, and I just saw a poll in my district, 80% of the people support the Second Amendment, and no changes for Franklin County. So there's Democrats in that same situation. So I don't think you're going to see anything major come out of our legislature, concerning gun rights or the Second Amendment rights. It is? Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for having me.
I owe Sherry Motti an apology because I skipped over
next
our
up?
federal
Yeah.
So why don't you do that before we move on to our next speaker?